Right now, in this exact moment, some part of your body is preparing for a threat that isn't there. Your palms might be slightly damp, your jaw might be tight, your eyes keep drifting back to your phone even though nothing new has happened. You didn't choose any of this. Something older than you did. Because buried underneath your modern life is a body that still believes it lives in a cave. Think about the last time you walked into a dark room and your hand shot out for the light switch before you even thought about it. Think about the way a sudden noise in another room makes your whole body go still before your mind catches up. That's not a personality trait. That's not anxiety exactly. That's inheritance. For roughly 300,000 years, Homo sapiens lived in small exposed groups on the savannas and in the caves of Africa. No walls that couldn't be breached, no guaranteed food tomorrow. No way to know when the sun went down whether morning would come without a predator finding you first. And the humans who survived that world weren't the calmest ones, they were the most alert ones. Evolution doesn't reward comfort, it rewards survival. So it built you a body that treats the absence of danger as temporary and the presence of it as the only thing worth paying attention to. Here's the strange part. Modern life removed almost all of the actual danger, but it forgot to remove the alarm system. Dr. Robert Sapolsky, a neuroendocrinologist at Stanford, spent decades studying stress in baboons in the wild, and he found something almost unfair. A zebra's stress response turns on when a lion appears and turns off the moment the lion is gone. Your stress response turns on when you remember an email you haven't answered yet. It doesn't turn off until you've imagined every possible way that email could go wrong. Your ancestors' bodies were built for short, sharp bursts of danger followed by long stretches of recovery. Your body still runs on that exact same software, but now the danger never fully leaves. It just changes shape. A predator becomes a deadline. A pack of rivals becomes a comment section. A shortage of food becomes a notification that your bank balance dropped. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a lion and a bad text message. It just knows something feels like a threat, and it responds the only way it knows how. That response has a name. Scientists call it the fight-or-flight response, first described by physiologist Walter Cannon in the early 20th century. In plain terms, it means your body floods itself with hormones like adrenaline and cortisol to prepare you to either fight the danger or run from it. Heart rate climbs, blood moves away from digestion and toward your muscles, your senses sharpen. For a few minutes, you become a slightly different animal. This made perfect sense in a world of physical threats. You needed the extra strength. You needed the tunnel vision. You needed the burst of speed. But you don't punch a deadline. You can't outrun a group chat. So the energy your body prepared for you has nowhere to go. It just sits there, humming under your skin, waiting for an escape that never comes. Have you ever noticed how good it feels to go for a walk when you're overwhelmed? That's not a coincidence. That's your body finally getting to do the thing it was built to do with all that readiness. There's another piece of the puzzle, and it's even stranger. Your body isn't just reacting to danger, it's constantly scanning for it, even when nothing is wrong. Psychologists call this negativity bias, and it was documented extensively by researcher Roy Baumeister, who found that bad experiences affect us more powerfully and linger longer than good ones of equal size. One piece of criticism outweighs 5 compliments. One mistake replays in your head for hours while a success barely gets a mention. Why would your brain be built this way? Because in the ancient world, missing a threat could kill you, but missing an opportunity for something good just meant you missed out. The math wasn't equal, so your brain wasn't built to weigh it equally. A caveman who ignored a rustling bush because it was probably nothing didn't get a second chance to learn from that mistake. So here you are, thousands of years later, lying awake at 2 in the morning replaying a comment your coworker made, while your body treats it with the same seriousness your ancestors reserved for movement in tall grass. This is where it gets personal, because it's not just fear that got left over, it's connection too. Your ancestors did not survive alone. A human by itself on the savannah was food. A human in a group had eyes in every direction, hands to help gather, and warmth to share when the temperature dropped. Belonging wasn't a nice feeling. It was survival infrastructure. That's why being excluded still feels like actual pain. Researcher Naomi Eisenberger, a social neuroscientist at UCLA, found that social rejection activates some of the same brain regions as physical injury. Your brain doesn't file being left out of the group chat under minor inconvenience. It files it, at least partially, under danger. That single unread message, that slow reply, that feeling of being the only one who wasn't invited. Your brain isn't overreacting. It's running an ancient script that once meant the difference between life and death. So what do you do with a body that's still bracing for a world that mostly doesn't exist anymore? You don't fight it. You work with it. Notice when your body tightens before your mind knows why. That tightness isn't a flaw. It's a message from something 300,000 years old, doing its best to protect you with the only tools it has. Give the energy somewhere to go. Move your body when it prepares for a threat that isn't physical. Walk, stretch, shake out your hands. You're not calming down artificially. You're finishing a process your ancestors always finished because they had no choice. And when the small stuff feels unbearably large, remember that your nervous system was never built to distinguish between a rustling bush and a rude email. It was only ever built to keep you alive. Sometimes that means it overreacts to things that were never actually dangerous. Consider the modern moment you started with. Maybe it's a slow reply. Maybe it's an unread message sitting at the top of your screen. Maybe it's just a quiet room and a mind that won't settle. Underneath all of it is a body still listening for something in the dark, still remembering a world it never got to leave behind. You are not broken. You are ancient. And every time your heart races over something small, that's not weakness. That's 300,000 years of survival, still running, still trying to keep you alive in a world that no longer needs it to. You never noticed. But your body never stopped believing it lives in a cave.